Ted's calling from Washington. Pronouns are he, him, says, thinks Trump has done a lot to protect free speech. Wow. Like what, Ted? How you doing?
How's it going, guys? I'll start by saying I don't think Trump has done a lot of, I think he's done a lot of good, but I think he's done bad too. So I don't, the thing with the PhD student getting deported over writing, I don't think that was cool. But I think when you look at what Biden did, pressuring Meta to censor stuff about the COVID lockdowns and all the damage that did.
Excuse me, Ted. This is about, you think Trump has done a lot for free speech. You're aware that they're censoring speech on government websites and they're going after lawyers and getting them to shut down and people who oppose Trump or don't agree with Trump. All of that's happening. Now, what does that have to do with Trump doing good stuff for free speech? Because if all you're going to do is try to say Biden was worse, I don't give a fuck.
Well, I feel like Trump also has changed the culture so that people aren't pressured to be afraid to speak out against like wokeness and stuff like that.
So Trump has encouraged bigots and ignorant racists to be more vocal while silencing the people who are advocating for DEI and stuff like that. And that is an instantiation of protecting free speech. I'm pretty sure that during the Biden administration, you idiots were free to speak about DEI as much as you wanted, right?
Well, I don't think it's DEI. I think for me, it's more about the gender stuff. I think that
Ted,
like gender medical care is dangerous.
Ted.
Yeah.
During the entire Biden administration, was there any law restricting your right to talk about gender and express your opinion?
There was,
Okay, I'm going to mute you, Ted, because you're dishonest as fuck and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You and everyone else were free to shit all over the gender ideology that you don't understand and don't agree with constantly, which is exactly why Trump is president now. Because you and your idiot cohorts turned trans people who represent less than 1% of the population into a terrifying boogeyman and scapegoat that you could use to blame everything. Oh, no, we're allowed to, we'll use their pronouns, but they shouldn't be playing sports, even though the NCAA says, how many trans athletes are there in the entire collegiate thing? Oh, two. And meanwhile, Fox News and all these others are posting lies, headlines about, hey, this trans woman in the London Marathon has agreed to give back her medal after beating 14,000 other women. Meanwhile, the truth of that story is that she placed 6,100 and some odd out of everybody who ran and got a participation medal for her thing. But that's not that for her category in the over 50 thing. That's not the newspaper ran. The newspaper ran this scare story about how there's a trans woman who beat out 14,000 women for a medal. So when that's what's being published and you guys are spreading the misinformation, don't you dare come to me and suggest that Trump has protected your right to be a bigot and that supports free speech, because you are allowed to be just as much of a bigot under Biden.
Well, I want to say that I'm not against trans people. I only have concerns about the medical interventions because...
Okay, Ted, we're not having this conversation. You can call in the Transatlantic Call-In show, but I'd highly recommend that you go watch Arden's talk from the American Atheist Convention, because you are already queuing up bullshit talking points, which you are perfectly free to express, but not fucking hear. See, free speech is about what the government can do to stop you from speaking. It has nothing to do with what you'll be allowed to say on my fucking show. I'm not violating your free speech by hanging up on you. And Trump has done more to inhibit, both by law and by coercion, free speech in public by removing language from government websites, by going after lawyers and organizations who oppose him, by suggesting that news organizations should have their credentials revoked for not carrying the party line. You are embarrassingly stupid on this subject, and I'm going to hang up.
And seemingly, potentially going after movie scripts and TV shows as well for what they can say. So, all coming full circle.
But, hey, I'm glad. Hey, comedy's finally legal again, you fucking Joe Rogan douche nozzle. Even Joe Rogan's starting to realize that he lied to, because Joe's an idiot. The only difference is that Joe will probably tell you he's an idiot. He keeps bringing people on. Let's smoke a bowl. Let's talk about this stuff. And everybody who comes on is both smarter than him, which is already a problem, but knows the subjects better than him. And since he's a clueless buffoon, they just get to talk unchallenged, which means somebody like Neil deGrasse Tyson and somebody like RFK Jr. come off on equal footing on the Joe Rogan show because there's a chief, the dumbest, the smartest village idiot is there smoking up and interviewing him. There's no way to push back when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. When you don't understand how anything works, every conspiracy theory is reasonable and true. Every potential injustice, every potential limitation of your free speech, all of that. Well, we just couldn't. I'm just opposed to this gender ideology. And by the way, Ted, you just exposed yourself as a liar, and it just took me this long to actually do that because you called in to say that Trump had done more for free speech, and then you used gender stuff as your criteria for that. And then when I pointed out you could have been just as much of a bigot under Biden, you said your only concern with the trans stuff was medical. Well, medical ain't got nothing to do with free speech, you fucking liar. And you know what is? The medical community, the experts on gender identity, gender studies, and things like that, they honestly evaluate and acknowledge that we don't have a perfect solution yet, and we don't have a perfect understanding either. What they acknowledge, unlike Dawkins and some other biologists who are misrepresenting biology, is that biology isn't merely XXXY. It isn't merely a simple binary, and you don't get to exclude the outliers when the outliers are what we're actually talking about. And they recognize that gender and sex isn't the same. That gender is a mishmash of biology, sociology, and psychology. And then they take a look at what's fair in sports, and it's up to the sporting organizations to make those decisions. But you get lied to saying people are running around destroying children's lives by doing surgery on prepubescent blah-blah-blahs and giving them drugs that, they can't get off of, which isn't true for hormone blockers and other stuff. There's a ton of studies, but we don't have enough. And we're talking about a tiny little portion of the population. Meanwhile, women no longer have access to control their own bodies. Free speech is increasingly being limited. The fascist authoritarian regime is doing what it is a matter of time before programs like this will not be seen. The trend will lead to this will go away. How dare you call in and brag about free speech and, well, then it's really only about the gender stuff. You don't even know what you're talking about. Well, how would you know that? You didn't listen to me. Oh, yes, I did. And when you come out with the stupid talking points from the beginning, you're like a creationist saying, well, we evolved from monkeys. Why are there still monkeys? And I hang up and you're mad because I didn't let you continue. I'm sorry that your foundational premise is bullshit, but it is.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jimmy Snow. I'm the executive producer of The Line. And at night, I sneak into Matt Dillahunty's house and I trade his cereals for other cereal. He comes out and he's like, wait, these are cereals I buy, but I swear I had different cereal. Anyway, would you like to support this channel or any specific show? You can do so over on Patreon or in channel memberships. There are special tiers for special shows or for the channel at large, and it helps us expand programming as well as hopefully very soon launch it in podcast form. Now, also, if you'd like to support, you can like, you can subscribe, you can leave a comment or a super thanks, which is a special highlighted comment that you pay for. Those are fun. And, screw the algorithm, go check out something over here, I suppose. Boy, I hope I can still put those icons there, because if I can't, this is going to look really stupid. I'm going to go buy some Cocoa Puffs and switch out Matt's mini wheat.